Yeah.
That's awesome. All right, I'm doing Facebook, and then once ever Facebook goes live, I'm gonna double check it, then we'll actually start the show. So give me a second.
Okay.
Facebook is much more slower than Facebook goes live. I'm gonna double check it, then we'll actually start the show. This is different. I'll just mute that.
Yeah.
Perfect. We are on. Welcome to episode 1 of the Senior Portrait Live show. I'm super excited to, intro in us for this new beginning with me and Shane Hunter. So if you don't know me, my name is Josh Fisher. I'm a senior portrait photographer, and I'm coming live to you out of Oklahoma City, along with my host, Shane Hunter, out of the great town of Huntsville, Alabama. Say hi, Shane.
Hello, guys and
So I
gals.
got some. Oh, sorry. We got some awesome stuff coming up. Our kind of goal for this podcast or this live show is we want to learn from photographers, whether they're well known or not known at all. I really believe in the power of networking and different groups and tribes out there. I'd love to interview different people, whether they're vendors or well-known photographers, even just like business strategists out there that work in the entrepreneur network, not necessarily a photographer realm. So excuse me. I don't know about you, Shane, but I am super excited for this live show with episode 1 right here. And we got you guys on whether you're watching on Facebook Live or YouTube Live, we are watching the comments. So once we start the show, so to speak, let us know if you have questions, and we'll kind of pull them in. But I don't know, Shane, what do you think about today?
I'm excited. We've got a great guest for today. We wanted to kick it off with somebody really interesting and fun to talk to. So we've got Matt Myers coming in later. And but first, I want to talk to you guys about something. I'm going to spend a few weeks on this. So it's going to be very basic introduction to off-camera flash. So if you are new to photography, if you're maybe not new to photography, but you've never tried, you've always been intimidated by off-camera flash, I want to hopefully get your feet wet into the concept of it without it seeming so daunting. So I'm going to share my screen here so everybody can see what I'm looking at. So basically what we're going to do today is just really talk very, very skeleton, skin and bones basics about photography and off-camera flash. Hopefully you'll, after a couple of 2 or 3 weeks of this, you'll start to warm up to the idea of off-camera flash. You can see the value that it has to your business or to your to the look of what you can produce as far as the portraits that you have coming out. And then it won't be the daunting beast that maybe you thought it was. So today, like I said, we're going to keep it very basic. I want to really start out photography 101, or even less than that. Photography literally means drawing with light. So photo is from the Latin word for light, graph, Latin word for drawing. So it's literally what you're doing with your camera is you're drawing with light. And your camera is just a light-proof box that controls that. So what it does, it controls the amount of light that comes in, the duration of that light, and the sensitivity to that light. And what you get as a result is exposure, of course. So that when you get that exposure triangle, that's balancing all that, making sure that you have the right exposure is super important. But when you have ambient light from if you're outside, you've got sunlight and you've got light bouncing off of buildings, and you've got people that are wearing white shirts or dark shirts, and it's having the right exposure for all that is very, very tricky. So what I want to do is just talk about the control of ambient light, and the more of the control you have over it, the better results that you're going to have. Now I want to show you a picture I took earlier this year in a really bad time of day. It was probably 2:30 or 3 in the afternoon. It was a cloudless day, and I was out in a field with these beautiful yellow flowers. You had the yellow and green background, and this is pretty much ambient only sunlight. We had the light coming straight down. You can see on the back right, I have the sun slightly behind her. But what I did is I brought in my off-camera flash with one light. I'm able to darken the background, put light on her, and you see that Lisette now is very well exposed, created some nice shadows and highlights on her face, and then I was able to control the background to get that nice blurry, creamy background instead of just a bunch of white and yellow splotches back there. So that's what you're able to do with the off-camera flash. So anytime you have off-camera flash, anytime you're thinking about it, you're either inside or outside. Obviously, in a studio, you have complete control of all the light. So once you have your camera set up, if you take a picture indoors, it's just going to be black. If you have no available light, so you can bring in the light that you want. So this is a portrait I shot a couple of weeks ago of a young lady here, and this is the 3 light setup. But basically with those 3 lights, I can control the direction, I control the power, I control everything. Now, if you're outside, it may not be a sunny day, maybe it's at sunset, and you want to expose the picture, the beautiful sunset, and also the person you're taking a picture of. Well, the sunset is going to be really bright, brighter than the person. So if you expose for the sunset, the person's going to be dark. If you expose for the person, the sky is going to be blown out and you can't see the sunset. So if you bring in off-camera flash, if you look at the picture on the right there, you expose your camera for that beautiful sunset in the background, and then you expose the lights for the person that you're taking a picture of, and it balances out. Now, that's getting a little bit ahead of ourselves, but just to show you the benefits and what you can do, that's what today is about, to show you maybe an introduction to what we're going to talk about in the next few weeks. So continue to tune in week to week to learn more about this. Shoot some questions over to us even during the week, and we can hopefully answer those in the next episode or some episodes to come. So that is the talk for today. So hopefully you got something from that. If not, then we'll just let Josh talk more next time. So that's all right. But we are so excited. Like Josh said earlier, we've got some great things lined up for today and in the coming episodes. Today we have Matt Myers from Lewis, Delaware, and Matt's going to be joining us now. And we're so excited to have you, Matt. And we want to just to welcome you to the broadcast here. And we want to welcome you to just to talk about, first of all, before we get into the meat and potatoes of it, you can just say hello and tell people about yourself generally, and how you got into photography, how long you've been doing it, and just your basic background, what drew you to it.
Josh and Shane, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. Started photography seriously about 6-7 years ago. I've always liked having a camera in my hand, like probably everybody else who's watching this. And I developed my own style 2 or 3 years ago, where I just saw things a little bit differently than a lot of people, and started getting a little bit of notice and recognition for doing photos that were a little bit different in fitness and bodyscape type stuff. And now I am transitioning that into what we're about to talk about.
Awesome. So speaking of that, so you got this new project going on. You've been working on it for how long? You've been kind of behind the scenes?
Behind the scenes, probably 2.5, 3 years.
Wow.
I made a little demonstration of what I want to do and showed it to some vendors last year at Photo Plus in New York, and started getting support behind the scenes, since it is so much different than what I'm doing with fitness and bodyscapes. I wanted it to kind of be a little bit of a surprise, a little change of pace as far as what people might normally see from me. And I think it's about 180 degrees from what my normal work is.
No, I agree. Like, I remember seeing it on Facebook. I was like, what? Matt Myers is doing what? So I whenever Shane and I were starting to talk about this podcast or this live show, he was like, we gotta have Matt Myers to come on and talk about this project, because it is so cool. I mean, it's not every day someone, drops everything to start a charity, so to speak. So
yeah, I'm super excited about it. And the name of it is So Many Angels. And when I was talking to my friend Mickey, who initially did the first edit for my Photoshop edit for my little promo behind the scenes videos that I was showing to potential sponsors and vendors, I was trying to explain to him about how it's just, I'm on this big ship and I know where my destination is, but I'm having a little bit of trouble getting there sometimes. Sometimes a little wind will blow me to the right, blow me to the left. Sometimes the ship will just run out of gas and it'll just stop, and I won't get any returned emails, no return calls, no return messages. And all of a sudden I'll get an email or a return call that for a call I placed 2 months ago that is a huge, like, nuclear propulsion, like super universe push on the boat, which just gets me to the next level of where I know I need to be. And when I was explaining this to Mickey, I said, you know, it's almost like there are so many angels helping me, and that name just kind of stuck. Which there's also, let me explain what we will be doing with So Many Angels. Photographers will go into hospitals and treatment centers where children are being treated for cancer. And this is Pediatric Cancer Awareness Month, September. So it's kind of good timing that you guys have me on, and thank you again. And the photographers will go in and photograph the children, and then the Photoshop artists that we have, the volunteer Photoshop artists, will transform them with their skills into whatever the kids want to be when they grow up. So if they have they want to be Superman, we'll make you Superman. You want to be Wonder Woman, you're going to be Wonder Woman. You want to be a ninja, a princess, a fairy. You want to be a trash man. I wanted to be a trash man when I was 4 years old because our trash men had so much fun and they were laughing and playing and they got to play with trash. So that kind of stopped when I was 5, I guess. So there's our logo. There's our website. If you are a photographer and you'd like to help, let's go back to that. That's Luke. Go ahead and show Luke again, please. So this guy is Luke. We photographed him in St. Louis. Giveaway is the uniform there. In St. Louis a couple weeks ago, and he was just awesome. He was the first person we officially photographed for So Many Angels. Josh Hanna did the edit. We've got some really good editors. We've got some photographers lined up. And so what we're looking for are photographers, just volunteers in general. If you go to somanyangels.org and click on the blog link, and I believe the title is Want to Help? If you want to help, click that link, read some of the descriptions. If you think you will be able to help us out, click it, fill out the application. We will be doing criminal background checks on each person that will be working with the children. There will be an application fee of $35 that will help cover all the criminal background checks. We need Photoshop gurus. We need photographers. We need photographers' assistants. We need organized people to help coordinate. We need just volunteers in general to help check in and check out the families and make sure all the information is correct. Because what we'll do is we'll go in, say like 1 day a month. This is the plan right now. It might change. Go in 1 day a month from a block of, say, 10 to 3, and we'll photograph all the children. And we're hoping within 10 business days to get them in their hands, a 16 by 20 canvas, working with a professional print lab. And they will be donating these canvases, and they're just incredible. Wow. And the families will have these canvases in their hands, hopefully within 2 weeks. And the little guy you saw there, Luke, he was just the best. His mom sent me a message afterwards saying that right up until bedtime, he was sleeping in his uniform. Oh, right after the photo shoot, he was just bouncing around with so much energy. The child life specialist told us that after the photo shoot, he just was bouncing around the walls, the halls. And when he went back to his room, he just had so much energy. And the smile from some of the pictures I saw was it's for me, that was the first shoot, and it's already been worth it to me. And I can't imagine how many families will be able to touch with this, and how awesome it's going to be when these families get these canvas portraits in their hands, and how excited they will be. Just hearing how excited Luke was reading that message, and he had not even seen that picture yet. It was all about the experience, and that's what you want with every single client. Is you want the experience. You want the products where we make our money. You want those products to be the icing on the cake. You want the experience to be what they tell their friends about. Yeah, they will see the albums, they'll see the nice canvases or metal prints on the walls, but the experience is what will get you those referrals.
That's awesome. So there's so many questions. So right now you need photographers, digital artists, assistants. Like, what all do you need right now? I kind of put it out there, but
yeah. Okay. So mainly what we need right now is I as much as I want to be in every treatment facility and hospital tomorrow, I don't want to do it that way. I don't want to be, my friend was telling me, you don't want to be that guy who had that great idea that 3 years from now, people say, what was that idea that guy had? I don't want to fizzle out that quickly. So what we are looking for mostly right now is Photoshop artists.
Okay.
People who are really good at compositing. You do not need to be Richard Sturdivant, Ben Shirk, Dan McClanahan, Nick Jones, Josh Hanna, David Bird, all these people that you see the awesome composites of, Dan Freevault. You don't need to be that level, but you got to be next level, because we want these families blown away with the work that we're providing for them. No 6-year-old girl should know how to pronounce neuroblastoma, let alone tell you everything about what's involved with that. Yeah. We want during the photo shoot, we want the parents watching the children be children. Their normal is so messed up that I want them to have a normal for about 15 minutes, 20 minutes. And if we can go in there and do what I think we can do, and what we were able to do with Luke, you're going to get so much back from this. I want you going away from that, and I want the photographers will go home, upload the photos, they're done. And the Photoshop artists take over. They work their magic, send the files back to us. I send them off to the printer. The print lab will send the canvases to the families, and that's it. We wait for the next month at that hospital. I want the photographers going, I want to do this again. Ideally, I'd like to not be doing this in 10 years, but I would, unfortunately, that's probably not going to happen. So in between that time, I just want to get to every family that we can get to. And we are still waiting to hear back from the IRS for official notification that we have been accepted as a 501c3. So we do have a donation page up there, but as of right now, your donations are not tax deductible. And I don't like it when people say, hey, donate to us, we're a charity, when you're not really a charity. That's kind of shady. So I'm not really asking for donations yet. If I'm giving somebody $25, I don't really care. But if I'm giving $250, I want the tax deduction. That's just the way things work. So right now, if you want to donate a little bit, that's fine, but that's not what we're asking right now. I really would like Photoshop people, photographers, because what I'd like to have the photographers in place where when a hospital contacts us to come in and do photo shoots, that's when we are ready to go. Maybe I go do the first photo shoot and train people as we're shooting. The photographers do need to be very proficient in speaking, proficient with studio lighting. We're going to need probably a 3-light setup. We need these photos to be easily extracted, because we need these Photoshop people to be able to open up the files and do their thing, instead of, if the Photoshop people get not the best quality and they say, oh, if it becomes a pain in the butt for anybody along the line, they're going to stop doing it. And I want people to be begging for that next photo shoot, that next file. I want the Photoshop people when they're watching football to say, okay, let's go see if there's any new photos to do for So Many Angels, because I really like doing that. When I went to the lab that I'm working with a couple months ago, some of the people there that actually will be making the canvases, when we ran some test prints through there, they said they noticed that something was different about the files that we sent through, and they were wondering what was going on. They are super excited. Everybody that I've talked to that's involved along the way is just raring to go. And I don't get excited about a whole lot of things, but I'm excited about this because I know the power that print can do for people, for families, for these kids. We can make these kids superstars, and even bigger superstars than they already are.
Yeah.
So, Matt, are there certain cities that are that you're targeting that you want photographers from right now, or is it pretty much nationwide?
It's pretty much nationwide, anywhere in the U.S. Haven't figured out how we can do things elsewhere yet, and that'll come eventually if that's what it does. This is going to turn into what it needs to turn into within about 2 years, maybe shorter. But right now, if you know of a pediatric cancer treatment facility in your local hospital, please come sign up, because we will need multiple photographers in case, you just can't make it, or maybe we need more than one photographer that day. Another thing is, we want the families, as much as we would like to contact the families directly and have them contact us, we're going to try to not do it that way. We're going to try to have them contact their child life specialist at the hospital where they are, and have them contact us and say, we're in XYZ hospital. We'd like you guys to come in and photograph the children here. And then that's when our coordinator for the region or for the state or for that particular hospital, that's when they will contact the people at the hospital to schedule that, whatever it is, one day every 3 weeks, one on the third Thursday of every month. However we're going to work with that hospital, that's how we want to set that up. Because if we have to schedule individual families, and it's just too much work on the back end for us, just easier to set it up the way I just mentioned. It's a little more work for the hospital at the beginning, but pretty much after that, they're going to have to make sure a room's clean for us for an afternoon or a morning or a combination. And then we show up, and that's it, once a month or whatever it is. And we don't want the photographers we need you to be efficient with studio lighting, but we don't want you doing the photo shoots at your studio. It's easier for the families if we just go there, and the medical people are there if we need help. And the kids, if they're currently undergoing treatment, that's where they are. So we go to them and we do it. We want it to be as easy for them as possible. And so to get back to your question, which I kind of forgot, we're going to need people everywhere. So obviously the Photoshop artists, you can be anywhere. That would be awesome. But the photographers, if you've got a pediatric cancer treatment facility nearby, if you have contacts there, reach out to them and say, hey, there's this group that's taking pictures of the kids. As far as the families, at this point, we need the families to have, for the most part, we need them to have the costumes. If they want to be a superhero, we need to try to get them to have the costumes, because logistically, we just cannot do with the amount of children that have cancer. We just not equipped to have that many costumes on hand, or to store them, or to have all the different sizes that people want. So that's going to be another thing that we need the families to do beforehand, which right now, Halloween's coming up. Pretty easy time to find some costumes.
Absolutely, man. And such a great charity, a good cause, and we appreciate you coming on and talking about it. And just real quick, we only have a few seconds left, but I just want to give you an opportunity to talk about any workshops or speaking things that you've got coming up. And if any, unless you just don't want anybody to come, you can just say don't come.
got nothing coming up. I might be announcing something in the Midwest for I think it's November 3rd and 4th coming up. It's not official yet, but I'll be blasting it out on Facebook and wherever, the usual places. As far as the workshop stuff, it's kind of going to take a backseat most likely to So Many Angels. And that's what I've been working on for intensely for the past 6 months. It's pretty much all been So Many Angels. I've taken my website down for the past 4, 5, 6 months just because I want the focus to be on So Many Angels. I don't want to try to do workshops and I just want to focus on this because that's where my focus needs to be right now. But thanks for asking.
Absolutely. And, if Matt ever has anything coming up, it's not hard to find him. He pretty much is all over Facebook. So he's got it covered. So if you follow Matt or want to follow Matt, you can do that. And it's pretty easy to find. We'll have some links for you. But thank you very much, Matt. We appreciate you coming on, brother.
Thanks, Shane and Josh. I appreciate it a bunch. I'll see you.
Yeah, you bet. Thanks.
All right. Thanks.
All right. So, thanks again, Matt. And I want to throw it back over to Josh. He's got some insights to share with us. So take it away, Josh.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Shane. And thank you again, Matt. That was awesome. I'm really excited about your project. I know it's going to change and just touch so many families out there. And again, I can't stress enough, if you know a photographer or if you yourself want to get involved in this, just go to SoManyAngels.org and reach out to Matt, and he will hook you up with the ways to do that. But I thought I would end every show with kind of like a business mindset segment. As a photographers, I know we can get kind of trapped in the notion of just creativity and just that kind of stuff. But there really is a business aspect, to running a business to be successful. Yeah, you can play with photography and make a lot of money. You can play with photography and get really creative, but to actually like live off of it and be profitable off of it, I really think we have to be intentional with our mindset and our business strategies. And so I wanted to end every show with kind of a little segment, just a few minutes on just some touching or talk points on a couple of different things. And I just kind of typed out a couple of things. I'm not going to go over all 10 of them. I'm going to start a new series, but it's going to be the 10 pitfalls of success that any entrepreneur faces. It doesn't have to be a photographer, just an entrepreneur in general. But number one is being paralyzed by fear. So if you have fear in your business, whether it's from like the photography part, you maybe don't know what you're doing, or it's a marketing strategy or an accounting strategy or something like that. Every entrepreneur faces that, and especially as a photographer. But successful people, they have fear too, but they take action regardless of their fear. Being fearful of failure and looking stupid and doing the wrong things, like we all face that kind of thing, but still, we push past that. We take ownership of whatever we have at the moment, and we go ahead and take action. So I guess the number one takeaway on that is successful people take action in spite of fear. And so, whether you're trying to overcome something in your business right now, or, maybe there was something, an idea planted in your head, or something you learned from another photographer, and you're just fearful that it might, break your system or something like that, like really think through it and then just like take action anyway and have a plan B. So number two is learning without action. So this kind of segues into from number one, but you have to take action in spite of fear. We already talked about that, but learning without action does you no good. So I used to be kind of guilty of this. I would get books from the library and I would feel like satisfied just by getting the book without actually reading it. And that did me absolutely no good. But once you actually like read the book and go through it and start applying some of the strategies and the takeaways from the book, then that's actually like learning with action. And you have to do that kind of stuff. So feeling good to learn is not good enough. You have to actually take action to succeed. This workshop season is, fall time and springtime. So right in the middle of a workshop season and conference season, you're going to be learning a lot of information. Just going to a conference is not good enough. You have to actually take action on what you learn. That's super important. And if it's a lot of information, don't try to implement it all at one time. Like, make yourself an action plan where you knock it out in 3 weeks, or you knock it out in 12 months, that kind of stuff. So there's a famous quote, I forgot who, I think it's Confucius, but it's I hear and I forget, I see and I remember, I do and I understand. So yeah, I actually did write this down, Confucius. So keep that in mind as you are learning new business strategies and new photography strategies, is that You can hear, you'll forget. You can see, you might remember. But the more you do things, actually take action, you'll understand it, you'll feel confident about it, and you'll move forward about it. So the biggest danger of the learning mode is overanalysis, which leads to, I don't know, like it won't work in my area, or it won't work in my business, that kind of stuff. So get rid of that notion. You cannot be paralyzed by fear, and you have to take action with your learning. And I will finish up 3 through 10 on the coming weeks, and we're really excited about this show. Thank you so much for joining. Again, call to action for Matt Myers. Go to SoManyAngels.org and sign up. You can donate, or you can wait to donate. But right now, he really needs digital artists and photographers, people in the network with hospitals and pediatrics. And then Shane, next week we got we got a whole lineup of people coming up all the way through Christmas. So we'll still setting dates, but you want to go ahead and give a shout out. Couple of people we're having coming up.
Yeah, absolutely. Before I do that, I want to really quickly mention on our Facebook group, Senior Portrait Secrets, Luke's mom. Luke was the young man that we posted a picture of, or we showed a picture of earlier, with the St. Louis Cardinals uniform on. His mom posted on our live feed comments. Many of you have seen that. If you're on YouTube, maybe you didn't. But she says, "I'm Luke's mom. We're blessed by Matt. He's one of the angels God placed in our life. Luke loved hearing about and seeing his picture today on the show. May God continue to bless and guide So Many Angels. We're praying for its continued growth, and I hope it blesses many more families like it's blessed ours." So we thank you so much, Rhonda, for posting that, and we know it means a lot to you and the people that it will be affecting in the weeks and years to come. We wish Matt the very best, and definitely in the next few weeks we got some more exciting guests that are coming. We've got someone from Sticky Albums, Sticky Folios, the Sticky family. If you're not familiar with that, you will be, so tune into that. White House Custom Color, David Beckham, Fuzzy Dunkel, and that's all I can remember off the top of my head. Josh, is there somebody I'm missing there?
Yeah, we got a couple people you might not have ever heard of. Alan Lewis. Oh no, that was the only other one. So yeah, but if you want to be on the show, it's seniorportraitsecretslive@gmail.com. Send us a quick email, or just post right here in the comments on Facebook, and let us know if you want to be on the show, and we'll interview you a little bit and see if it's a good fit. Anyways, anything else, Shane?
I think that's it. We just want to give a huge shout out and thank you to Matt Myers from So Many Angels for joining us for our very first podcast. And to all of you who tuned in live on Facebook and YouTube Live, we thank you as well. Don't forget to like us on Facebook, subscribe and comment on YouTube, share via email and carrier pigeon. However you can figure out how to do it, that would be great.
Carrier pigeon.
Carrier pigeon, just tie a note to a pigeon's foot, and it'll get to somebody that likes it.
Is that a drone?
It could be a drone. Electronic pigeon, I guess, is what I would do. But no, join us next week, and we'll have another incredible guest for you, just like we did today. And we would tell you now who it's going to be. You wouldn't be able to sleep at night, so we don't want to do that to you. But for now, for Josh, I'm Shane Hunter, and we're saying so long from Senior Portrait Secrets Live. Have a good week.